Hi Sanjeevi, how are you? I thought I can just make this into some kind of video so you can give me your opinion whenever you have time. Um, so basically, what I'm trying to do is set up a program um, where people can see their progress step by step um, learning a language. So I'm not gonna like stop at every like slide in this presentation, but I just want your overall opinion. So I'm thinking to kind of make a presentation about how people can learn a language and then how they can do it by themselves and how I can help. So I have a website. I will share it with you later and you can give me your opinion also whenever you have time. So I want to start like the presentation by asking people like how they learned their first language, if they remember how they learned their first language as young people, like if they learned it in school, did they learn it from their parents? Just talk about their experience with the first language and if the first language is helping them with their work. So are they at a high level already um, in a way that it's actually helping them, um, you know, with the work they do for income and the work that they want to do to like make more business or make more work. And then I want to ask about their second language and how they learned that one and if it's also helping with their work. Now, to check the actual level of the language, I'm wondering if someone can learn language from them. So, okay, that's great. You have a strong language, but is it strong enough so that someone can actually learn it from you? If they heard you speaking or saw you writing, can they actually learn it from you? And then can you actually teach it? So these are two different things because the first one is just if someone is shadowing you and just following you around, can they learn it from you? The second one is can you actually like structure it so that you can actually teach it um, formally? So different people have different ideas about how language is learned. For me, I remember climbing. This one is like a beginner climbing board, and it's usually for younger people. And as you can see, there's like different spots that you can climb onto. So for me, learning language is like going from here, from the bottom, all the way to the top and getting better and better in the speed, in the vocabulary, in the grammar. But there's so many things happening in the mind, so sometimes people just give up. It's also to me looking like this because language is not just a straight line. Like everybody has a different style, and in the end, your climb is gonna look different from the other person's climb. Um, so because it's like a unique kind of experience and it's a challenge for us, um, people learn it through different ways. Either immersion, like they go into a community, or they turn it into a specific learning experience, or like me, just you study it in like a academic environment. So these are the three different um, ways. Either you go into a community or you go to a classroom or a specific learning environment, or you just kind of learn it. Oh, sorry, this one disappeared. Um, Learn it by yourself and see how the brain works. So, why did I make it into a program? Um, so, basically, from my experience, I got to a point where I said, okay, I need to make a program so I can make it easier for someone if they want to learn with me. Um, so, looking back in my life, before I started teaching language, I used to enjoy reading books and stories. So, I thought, I always thought that reading stories is usually the best way to learn a language because you don't have to memorize anything. It's just kind of naturally going into your mind. Not everybody loves reading. So when I kind of became a teenager, I started like tutoring English and Arabic. And sometimes I use stories, and sometimes I just use like um, normal teaching style. Then I decided to study it as um, an academic subject. So I studied linguistics in university. And then I got even more confused because I'm like, okay, so they make learning language sound so complicated that I don't know if anyone wants to do it. And then I had a struggle because I just got a job with like language centers and I was teaching someone else's curriculum and books. So I wasn't reaching my goal with the students. The students were not reaching their specific goals because they are adults and they already have their goals. And the books are usually made by someone else. So we don't know what our goal is in the classroom. So that's why I decided to just bring everything together that I learned from my first language experience and then from tutoring and then from my university education and then the struggle that I had teaching other people's curriculum. This is the result of everything. Um, so, my challenge right now is basically referencing back the material to the right person. So, and then my solution for that is if I do reference someone, I will put it in an article and I'll put it in my website because none of the work is 100% mine. It's usually like from someone I learned from or, something I read in a book. So, there is a way that people can do it by themselves in a way that is realistic and without memorizing. And sometimes you can actually take breaks. You don't have to be learning language all the time. And there is a way we can do it without giving up and hating the language or hating the part of language that is difficult, whether it's grammar, vocabulary, or whatever. So here is the idea. I color coded the skills. So all the activities that um, I can share with the learner that is for listening activities will be this color. This one is reading. This one will be um, writing. And this will be speaking, grammar, and vocabulary. So I will show you the full picture later, but for now, let me break it down. So the idea is that every day you will spend 20 minutes doing one activity. And the 20 minutes have to be divided into the day. So you can't sit for 1 hour and do everything, because the idea is that you want to embed the language into your day slowly. So 20 minutes in the morning, and then 20 minutes in the afternoon, and then 20 minutes at night or in the evening. This is ideal, or this is the ideal situation. It can be 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, but the idea is to not memorize anything, not to try to like force the learning, just let it happen by itself. So 20 minutes, 3 times a day, and you're finished for that day. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to remember all the information. You just put it into your mind and then leave it. Let it sink in by itself. You don't have to force it down, because once you try to force a new vocabulary or a new kind of activity, your brain will get tired and it will get bored, and everything will just seem very difficult. So 3 activities per day, and that's it. So before you kind of like see the whole program, you want to ask yourself, is it worth it to learn this new language, or is it worth it to improve the language? Is it going to help my work tasks? Am I going to be, for example, better or more efficient in something that I do at work, like writing an email or something like that, or get a promotion, or even increase business with more countries and companies? For example, for Arabic, there's 22 countries that speak Arabic. So if I can learn basic Arabic for business, is it going to help my work or my company? Is it going to allow me to go to places where I can like understand the language better? And is it going to increase my social circle? Like, do I have a neighbor or a friend or a family member that I'm trying to speak with and I can't? Finally, will I be able to understand cultures a bit better? Maybe I live in a country where I'm kind of secluded from a group of people because I just feel scared that I don't know like what they're saying, or like I don't understand their culture. And finally, one of the biggest areas where we use language is in standardized testing for immigration and job placements. So we said we'll spend 20 minutes every day practicing one skill, and then we pick one day in the weekend where you can practice. So this is the day where you can sit and practice, not every day, because usually every day we're very busy. So different ways to do it is you find one language partner, and this will be your comfort partner. They are not going to judge you for anything. They're just going to listen to you, or you can teach them or something. You can practice with this one person. Then you slowly add more people. So what do you see happening here? What you should see happening is that you're slowly using the language step by step, and you're slowly increasing the number of people that you're using it with, so that eventually one day you can completely be able to use the languages with everybody, but you do it step by step. And I can be that partner in the beginning, but usually the language teacher usually understands broken language more than other people. So even though I can understand, maybe you'll go to a shop and still that person will not understand what you're saying. So we add people slowly. Another method we can use on practice day is reverse teaching. So if you're doing this by yourself, you just teach your partner everything you learned in the week. Remember, 3 activities every day. You can just practice the activities with this person. Or you can do free practicing. You just take the activities, if it's 3 per day, and you did several activities for the week. If you've done it every day, then it will be 12 activities. If you did 4 days, no, sorry, if you do 4 days, it would be like 4 activities, and you can just take all these activities and just go through it one by one and only spend 1 hour. Again, never overwhelm your brain with like too much language. What you want to do with this material is have it on a display on one of your house walls, basically. So this is all passive learning. This is all spaced learning, nothing cramming. There is nothing like forced or too fast. And then with my kind of program, you only have to do 48 activities and then you're finished. And then you turn it into a real life project, because remember, you slowly added people. Now you can kind of go into the supermarket or go try out a standard test or try it out in real life. And then the same project that you did, you just keep repeating it every month. So this is where I can help you set up like the project that you can keep repeating. Because if you don't repeat the same project, then you won't know if you're progressing or not. For example, if you do it the first time, you only use 3 new words, the second time 6. So if you go to the supermarket and you have a project, you just have to like be able to find maybe 1 person to speak with, the second time 2 people. Anyway, we can decide together how you will progress in the project. And that's it for the program. So basically 48 activities, there's 6 different skills. So every skill will have 8 activities. Okay. So I'm choosing the skill building method. So you know exactly what you can do with each skill at the end of the month or the second month. This can be used in many different ways, but I think it's a good idea because it's really hard to just say, I want to learn an entire language. The only way that one will work is if you work with a teacher for a very long time, or if you, like we said, go into a community and just absorb the language little by little. But this one will give you kind of a objective way of knowing exactly what you know. So, like we said, for example, every day there will be only 3 activities until you get to the last one. The difference between this and like the language learning books is that, again, with the language learning book, it just kind of has everything in one book and it has so many things in one page. What we want to do here is just, instead of making it an academic learning experience, we want to turn it into a training experience. And this is basically where we can play around with what kind of activities you need for your goals and for your job. And then you can put this again on your wall and see where you've reached with your progress. So remember the first picture I put where you kind of learn how to climb and you kind of learn language step by step. Then suddenly one day you can be very proficient like these people here. where you can go up and down, you can use different vocabulary, you can use different grammar structures, and you can become very, very proficient in a language. But these people had to learn things in a systematic way. And that's what we kind of want to do here. And see how they can actually like coordinate the different things they're doing. And that's what happens when you're communicating between two people. You're like bouncing, 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 right? So yeah, hopefully this is where we can reach one day. To me, language learning is very like physical. Like you have to move around, you have to like go to different places, you know, go to the supermarket, go to the library, go to different places and start using the language. It is not something that is only done in a classroom. So I would love your opinion about all of this. If I'm gonna work with a student, there's different ways. The Saturday practices will always just be free. If someone just wants to join me every Friday and we can, or every Saturday, we can do some free practice. I'm thinking if they want to do the activities by themselves, then I can charge $2 or something for the activities. So it will just be $83 a month. And then if they want to work activity by activity, every time they finish one, they send it to me and we work on it. That will be $2. However, if someone just wants to do the full program and get all the feedback they want and train, I will only take 12 students per month, and this will be the charge for them. And that's it. Oh, this is something I've been thinking about too. I don't want to take payment in the beginning of the month because I want to make sure that they actually gained some progress so that when I collect the fee, it will be based on actual results. All right, let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye bye.